Picture this scenario, because there's a good chance it's happened to you recently. It's 5:30 p.m. on a Friday. You've just finished a long work week. You're on your way home, maybe in your car, maybe on the train, but mentally, you're completely drained. The idea of cooking feels overwhelming, so you open a delivery app. You order Indian food, Chinese takeout, or a burger. By the time delivery fees and tips are added, the total comes out to around $40 or $45. You get home, maybe pour a drink, sink into the couch, and put on a show you're not even that interested in. Just something to shut your brain off. And you tell yourself, I earned this. I worked hard all week. And honestly, that feels fair. But what if I told you that financially you didn't just spend $45? What if I told you that the food, the commute, the clothes you wore to work, and even the stress that pushed you to order takeout in the first place are all hidden costs of your job? Costs that quietly reduce what you're actually earning? You might think you're working for $30 an hour, but once you account for everything your job requires from you, that number can look very different. I'm Vish, and I spend a lot of time thinking about money, psychology, and why so many people work harder than ever, but still feel like their savings barely move. If you've ever looked at your paycheck and wondered where it all went, or felt like you're doing everything right but not getting ahead, this is for you. Today isn't about investing or side hustles. It's about understanding something most people never calculate: your real hourly wage. Once you see it, you may never look at money the same way again. Here's the idea we're rarely taught. From the moment we enter the workforce, we're told our value is defined by our salary. If you make $65,000 a year, that sounds like about $31 an hour. On paper, that feels respectable, comfortable even. But in any business, revenue without expenses doesn't mean much. A bakery can sell $1 million worth of bread, but if it spends nearly that much on rent, labor, and supplies, it isn't actually profitable. And yet when it comes to our own labor, we focus only on the revenue, the salary, and ignore the costs of producing it. And the product being sold isn't bread. It's you, your time, your energy, and your life. So let's walk through a realistic example. We'll call him James. James earns about $65,000 a year. Before that money even reaches his bank account, taxes reduce it. Federal taxes, state taxes, payroll deductions, suddenly that $31 an hour drops into the low 20s. That part isn't surprising. What most people don't calculate are the work-related expenses, the costs that exist only because James has this job. There's the commute. Fuel, public transport passes, car maintenance, insurance. Even a modest commute can quietly cost thousands of dollars a year. There's the cost of appearance. Work clothes, shoes, grooming, dry cleaning. James can't show up in pajamas. Looking professional costs money. Then there's what I call convenience spending. Because James is out of the house all day, he buys lunch when he didn't have time to prepare it. He grabs coffee to survive afternoon meetings. He pays for services, food delivery, help at home. Not because he's careless, but because time and energy are limited. And then there's the least talked about category: decompression spending. The money we spend to recover from work. Friday takeout, weekend shopping, short trips just to feel normal again. These aren't moral failures. They're coping mechanisms, and they're part of the real cost of the job. When you add all of this up, James isn't really living on $65,000. His effective, usable income might be much closer to the mid-30s. But we're only halfway through the equation. Because a wage isn't just money. It's money divided by time. On paper, James works 40 hours a week. In reality, his job takes more than that. There's time spent getting ready in the morning, the commute, the lunch break he can't truly use freely, the mental recovery time when he gets home, the background stress that follows him into evenings and weekends. When you account for all of it, James isn't giving his job 40 hours a week. He's giving it 55 or 60. Now do the math. Take that reduced income and divide it by the true number of hours the job demands. Suddenly, the number on the offer letter doesn't look so impressive. The hourly rate drops, not because James is underpaid on paper, but because the job is expensive to maintain. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to clarify something. This idea comes from the book Your Money or Your Life. and it's powerful because it changes how you see spending. When you know your real hourly wage, prices stop being just numbers. A $100 purchase isn't just $100 anymore. It's several hours of your life. Hours spent commuting, managing stress, and recovering from work. Once you see purchases that way, many of them quietly lose their appeal. This also explains why promotions don't always feel like progress. Sometimes higher pay comes with higher costs. Longer hours, more stress, more spending just to cope. On paper, income goes up. In reality, efficiency goes down. So what's the point of all this? Not to quit your job, not to feel trapped, but to optimize your real hourly wage. Small changes matter. Working from home a few days a week, cooking ahead, reducing commute time, caring less about office appearances. Every dollar you don't spend just to support work is a dollar of freedom. The biggest shift, though, is psychological. You stop treating income as success and start treating margin as success. The money and time you keep, the space you create. Your life is a business, and a healthy business isn't defined by how much it earns. It's defined by what's left over. This weekend, take an hour. Run the numbers honestly. Estimate your costs. Estimate your time. Write down your real hourly wage. And the next time you're about to spend money, pause and ask yourself, is this worth that many hours of my life? That single question can change how you manage money, because time is the real currency, and understanding what yours is worth is the first step toward using it intentionally. If this helped you see your paycheck differently, consider liking the video and subscribing to Vish Invest for calm, practical conversations about money, and I will see you in the next one.